guys, 2022 has officially come to an end. This is it. This is the last day, and it's been quite a year. I thought I would film this video on photo booth just because I randomly thought of it, and I was like, okay, that could be good. I have my microphone in my hand, and I have the cord all wrapped up so that it doesn't make a loud bonking sound. But I have some of my favorites from this year written down in a note in my phone, so I'm going to talk about some of my favorite things from this year, some purchases that I don't regret, and then I'm going to talk about some things that I did, and we're just going to chat about what a strange and eventful year it was. So something that I didn't do last year that I kind of regret was I didn't talk about music or movies or books necessarily. I more talked about material things, which is totally fine, but I wish I would have done that, so that's what we're going to do this year. First of all, I'm going to talk about my favorite movie to come from this year, which ended up being Avatar: Way of Water. I know that some people really hate Avatar, and I'm trying to figure out why. I kept seeing those videos about people saying, oh, I watched the first movie when I was really young, and I can't remember the main character's name or, like, the plot line. Okay, so you didn't like it, or you watched it and it didn't have an impact on you. That's fine, but that doesn't mean that everyone who watched it didn't know the plot line and couldn't remember the main character's name. I'm such a big fan of Avatar. I think it's beautiful, and I love any movie that touches on subjects of environmental conservation and animal conservation and just Mother Nature and the beauty of it. I think these movies touch on so many important topics that are just so easily overlooked. Okay, this one, it was a toss-up between these two, but Everything Everywhere All at Once, that movie is that's one of the best movies I've seen in a really long time, and I think that's one of the best movies to be put out in many, many years. 如果有来生，我还是会选择和你一起报税，开始一点。And that's not to say that there aren't, other fantastic movies, but that movie was really important, and I feel like the message of the whole movie was very relatable to a lot of people, young and old, and if you haven't seen it, I would really, really highly recommend watching it. Also, I have seen Avatar in theaters twice now. If you want to see Avatar: Way of Water, I would recommend going to see it in the theater because it's so good. I could talk about it forever. Anyway, now I want to talk about music. And first, I want to dive into my favorite album of the year. But before I tell you guys my favorite album, I want to do some honorable mentions. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, Kendrick Lamar, fantastic. I mean, it seemed like everybody loved that album. And I feel like Kendrick just never really misses. I feel like this was also a very highly anticipated album. Next, I want to mention Big Thief, Dragon, New Warm Mountain, I Believe in You. My favorite song, and this is probably goes the same for a lot of people, I think it's their most popular song, Simulation Swarm. Really, really fantastic. Harry's House. Harry Styles never misses, so I don't really know what to say about that. And you know what? I'm honestly really glad that he came down from Fine Line. Harry's House kind of feels like, the stages of growing up almost. Gemini Rights, also, that was a good album. Obviously, Bad Habit. Everyone and their mother knows that song. It was good. It wasn't my favorite, but it was good. Those are my honorable mentions. You probably already know by now what my favorite album was, and it's SOS, SZA. This was also a very, very highly anticipated album. I was so excited about this. After Control, I didn't know how she could top that, or what am I trying to say? She has a vision that I feel like most artists can't get in touch with, which is she'll experiment in different, aspects of music and with different sounds, but she always stays true to herself. I feel like she makes music that she wants to hear, and she makes music I feel like she makes music that's very relatable to girls. To me, I can sense through her music that that's very important to her. I've been listening to the album on repeat. I'm sure a lot of people have. It's amazing. Right now, I've been listening to Low a lot. Kill Bill, of course. That's a really, really fantastic song. Seek and Destroy, I also really, really love that. Ghost in the Machine with Phoebe Bridgers. When I found out that Phoebe was going to be on this new album, I couldn't believe it. Like, what a collaboration. It's very powerful. F2F. Wow. Special. Oh. There are so many fantastic songs on here. Ghost Stream SOS by SZA. Next, I want to talk about my favorite song of the year, which was So Unimportant by Bon Iver and Ethan Gruska. I want to find out the exact date that song was released. When was So Unimportant by Bon Iver and Ethan Gruska released? So Unimportant, track released March 16th, 2022. It's just one of those songs. I love songs that feel like very earthy and like kind of beachy and a little bit existential. That's like just right up my alley. When I put that on, I'm like, no, I'm not here. I'm like flying away. I'm flying away. I love Bon Iver. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. I used to say Bon Iver, but I think it's Bon Iver. You know what? It didn't end up on my Spotify Wrapped, I don't think, which is really shocking. Spotify Wrapped is a whole other thing. I feel like a lot of people were talking about how they thought their Spotify Wrapped was really messed up. But they would listen to like one song this one time and then it ended up in their top 5. And that's a little strange. And then I started to question my top 5 and I was like, yeah. Now, my favorite book of the year and the book that I read this year, it was a book of short stories. The book is called Girls of a Certain Age by Maria Edelman. Have you ever had a movie or a song or a book or just, you know, some piece of media pop into your life at like just the right time, and it's almost like the universe was like, here you go.
There you go.
I see what you're going through, and I give you this. I present you with this little token. That was this book for me. I got it either it was really early January or really late December last year. I was in Barnes & Noble, and I was looking, I'm pretty sure it was in the fiction books, and on the top shelf, there's this book, and the cover's pink, and it's got this, you know, sculpture, a bust, and a jar of pickles, and there was just so many, like, cool things on the cover. I was very drawn to it. I read the first couple of pages, and I was like, oh, you're coming home with me. So I turned 20 in February. This year more than ever, I feel like I've just been so immersed with and interested in the process of growing up as a young woman, and it's something that I've, you know, when you're a kid, you don't really think about it. It depends on who you are. You become very interested in that realm, and it becomes such a big aspect of your life. This book was definitely just, I feel like the universe was just like, here you go. I know you need to read this right now. It's mostly, you know, based around the female experience. It follows just these stories of situations that I feel like a lot of girls go through throughout their lives. It's really important to remember that you're not alone and you're not the only person going through these things or feeling these emotions. I could probably talk about it forever. So yeah, that book is really special, and I just recently finished reading it. I'm letting my friend borrow it right now, so really excited to see what she says about it. Girls of a Certain Age, Maria Edelman, go read it. Don't let the title or my description or anything, like, don't let that discourage you, no matter who you are, from reading it. Like, anyone could read it. The next 3 things are purchases or like spending my money on things, and these are things that I do not regret buying. Actually, you know what? There's more than 3 things. I don't know why I said that. The first thing, and I need to put my mic down for this. These headphones are amazing, and I have seen a lot of people hate on them because I feel like this year was the argument of, so the Sony headphones or Apple headphones, and I had a really hard time deciding. Also, I did not put stickers right on it. This is a case. I would not recommend putting stickers directly on it. You can take out these earpieces and you can replace them. I'm sure I'm not the only one that thinks like this. I get really grossed out by headphones, especially when you can't replace these, because if you wear them to the gym or you wear them like to bed every night and they're touching like your face and your hair, they get a lot of oils on them, and I just feel like that's kind of nasty. I just think that's a really nice detail. Also, the noise canceling on these. If you're someone who just loves to just tune everything out and be the most immersed in what you're listening to, the noise canceling headphones, it doesn't even have to be these ones. Any noise canceling headphones, it kind of changes your life. The next thing that I want to talk about is a fashion item, and it's my favorite fashion item, something that I bought this year. The Mary Jane Doc Martens. Okay, so the ones that I bought are called the 8065 smooth leather Mary Jane shoes. They were also a bit pricey. You can dress them up, dress them down. I like to wear them with jeans. You can wear them with skirts. The person that inspired me to get these shoes was Marzia. I'm pretty sure she has the poly smooth leather Mary Janes. Pretty much everything I do is inspired by her. Basically, if I see her wear something, I will run to Google and try to find that thing. And if I can afford it, I will buy it. The next two things are a little different. First of all, I got my nose pierced this year. The piercer that I went to was fantastic. He was very nice, and he made the whole experience actually enjoyable and not like scary, and I was gonna freak out. I think I can take it out and replace it in March. I was debating whether I would talk about this or not. When I was in middle school and high school, I got made fun of a lot for like, you know, my nose and whatever. And I have had people like ask me, oh, like, you ever gonna get a nose job? Like, you ever thinking about getting a nose job? First of all, why would you even ask me that? Very weird. Second of all, I never had considered it before, but then people actually like talking about it and asking me this, I was like, oh, okay, that kind of solidifies my answer of like, no, like, I love it. And if you don't love it, I don't care. To me, it's just kind of like, I want to deck it out because I think that it's beautiful. Anyway, the next thing is also not, I don't know what category to put this in. It's just something that I splurged money on. Festival tickets, concert tickets. What I'm going to focus on right now is Lollapalooza. When that Lolla lineup dropped, I saw that Metallica was headlining, a bunch of these other artists that I really, really adore, and I knew that I had to be there. I had the time of my life. I've seen, you know, people on the internet, whatever, talk about, oh, that, like, you know, those people that like goes to a music festival, says that like it changed her life. And don't get me wrong, I know what you're talking about. I will say, it was really fun, and it was my first music festival, so let me just be a little sentimental about it. I would like to shout out the janitorial crew. Those are the real heroes, not the music artists. Oh my god. Not the music artists, the employees that work Lolla. I also want to give a huge shout out to the security at Lolla. They were just on top of everything all the time. They were handing out free waters the whole time. They had boxed water. They would chit chat with people. Yeah, I just had such a great time, and I went with two of my girlfriends, and we went for all 4 days, which was, now that I look back on it, for that being my first music festival, to go all 4 days, that's just so funny to me. That's kind of crazy. 4 outfits, 4 days of nonstop being in the sun, being in crowds, walking, dancing. It was so much. By the end of the 4th day, my voice was completely gone. My neck was hurting so bad from looking up at the stages and like nodding my head and everything. I'm really, really excited for the 2023 lineup to drop because I have some predictions, and if these people who I think are going to be there, you will see me at Lolla. You'll probably see me at Lolla regardless. Let's see, what else can I talk about? In terms of manga/anime, I started watching One Piece this year. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. My friend showed me One Piece like 4 years ago, and I was like, okay, like maybe I'll pick that up and watch it, but I am so bad at watching shows when people tell me to watch shows. So finally, this year, I started watching it, and I don't remember why. Probably just because I wanted to watch it finally, and it is as good as people make it out to seem, and it's just really fun. I'm not like an anime connoisseur or anything. I just, you know, enjoy certain shows, like Death Note. Death Note is my favorite. I also started Promised Neverland, and I also started reading the manga for Promised Neverland. Fantastic, again. I feel like I have used the word fantastic so many times, but that's my token word right now, so whatever. Oh, I was going to talk about this earlier when I was talking about music, but you guys know how I, mentioned in a previous video that I have become very obsessed with Phoebe Bridgers. Well, so my obsession continues. I found both of her albums on vinyl at this record store near me, and then my brother just got me this for Christmas. Look at her. Oh my god, she's magnificent. So that's my Phoebe Bridgers collection. Other records that I collected this year. Oh, I got Hozier's album, Sour. Oh, my best friend bought me Wallow's Nothing Happens, one of my favorite albums of all time. In previous videos, I mentioned that I got Food by MF Doom, and then I got Mad Villain, and then I got the JJ Doom EP. My Phoebe Bridgers collection is like my new pride and joy. I also used to have, there were some Phoebe Bridgers posters that I bought that I had hanging up here, but they wouldn't stay stuck to my wall, and they kept falling down on me while I was sleeping. I tried to kind of incorporate my favorites list with a recap of my year as well, which I feel like we've achieved. Oh, why haven't I talked about this? My hair. I spent the whole year with platinum hair. And then I think it was April, I bleached my eyebrows. And at first, obviously I didn't know what I was doing, and it was so yellow and brassy when I first did it. But the more I kept doing it, the more I kept understanding, you know, like toning and how to take care of my hair. And I really did take care of my hair. This is my hair a year after bleaching the ever-living shit out of it. I had wanted to bleach my hair for years. It was so fun to have that hair for the summer and for this whole year. I feel like that was a treat to myself. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna give myself that hairstyle for a while. You know, I do my own hair. I don't go to a stylist. Then, what was it? Did I do it in October? I just decided to chop it. I feel like I chopped it to here in October. Oh my god, my Duolingo. But I was gonna say, the other day, I finally just got sick of the platinum. We're going back to my brown eyebrows. It didn't come out like I thought it would. I thought it was gonna be like a honey blonde color. And then when I first blow dried it after washing it, it looked so gray. And I guess it still does. You know, and the more that I look at it, I'm like, okay, it is blonde. It just looks so strange to me because I've had this stark, like, white hair for so long. And every time I look in the mirror, I didn't have, like, dark eyebrows. So it was so bizarre. Looking at myself in the mirror with eyebrows and hair that wasn't, you know, like translucent. This year was a year of going through so many different hairstyles, because then, in between all of that, what did I do? I dyed my hair orange. I had this vision of, this is so funny. I thought my hair was gonna turn out ginger, and it turned out like a pumpkin. At first, I hated it, and then I got used to it, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Then my roots started growing out, and then I hated it again, and we went back to platinum. I feel like that's just such, I've done this my whole life. I get in these phases of, I need to change my hair, and I like doing fun colors. I have no regrets, to be honest. Okay, I gotta go do my Duolingo for the day. I'm doing French right now, and I'm also taking a Japanese course. And what else am I doing? Oh, Italian, a little bit of Italian, but mostly French. And I feel like Duolingo kind of became a meme, but I love doing my Duolingo. I feel so studious.
Hella studious. Look at this studious ass fool.
I hope you have a wonderful new year. Please stay safe, and keep your friends safe, keep your loved ones safe. And yeah, I hope you have a fantastic new year. I'm not gonna make any promises on my next video, because I always do this at the end of my videos. I'm like, okay guys, so I'm gonna see you in like a week. You're probably not gonna see my ass in a week. I also am going on a vacation tomorrow through January 11th. And you guys will be seeing some content from that. Okay, thank you so much for spending this year with me. If you subscribed to me during this year, or you supported me, or you like my content, or, you know, whatever, I really appreciate it, because this is something that I love doing. I feel like I've just become so much more comfortable doing it, and it's really, really fun when people that know me in my real life come up to me and talk about how they saw my video, or they think it's really cool. It just makes me really happy. This year was a year, and that's for sure. Here's my little sentiment to myself and to you about 2023. I hope that 2023 is a completely new experience, and I hope that new things and new feelings and new friends are very enjoyable and shed a light in my life and in your life as well. So that's my sentiment. Okay, that's it. That's my closing statement. Honestly, I think I might film on photo booth more, because this was really fun. Okay,